Hello and welcome to another exciting, yes, that's a word, exciting episode of Roll for Damage. We will be continuing our, what are we playing again? Vampire the Requiem.
The Lost Night.
Vampire Requiem, the Lost
Slide
Knights
note cards.
Chronicles. Sorry, I don't have my notes in front of me and my brain farted this evening.
Slide.
You should get something to help you with that.
I did, it's not working, not yet. Anywho, join me, of course, I have Mr. Henry playing the lovely Lucia.
Hello, everybody.
Then I have Russell playing Charles, who is
He went.
equally lovely.
He went to Cornell.
And then I have.
Wait, did he really?
Now he did.
Oh, okay.
That's been written
Excellent.
into his background. And now comes Mr. Dominic, of course, who is joining us playing Trenton.
He's butt ugly.
Oh,
Yeah, this might be true.
best in the
No,
class.
Trenton's a dashing fellow.
Well, it depends.
Dashing
Does he
with
have
cow-
striking looks?
Is he
No.
20% cooler? Get it?
You-
Dashing?
He's got a fucking cowboy hat. All right.
No, I was gonna say that you actually want to hear a funny little story that we can kind of leave in for the viewers. I once had a player who was looking through the merits and he saw striking looks and he took it at 4 and he thought he could literally look at somebody and it would and it would injure them.
Oh my
Glance
god.
sidelong at somebody and they get a black eye.
No, I'm dead serious.
It's
No,
like
that's
Zoolander.
bashing looks.
Bashing looks.
Blue steel.
Anywho, last session was very short. It was due to time restraints on my end as the GM. So we have all opted that it's going to be. It was more of a closure to the previous story arc, and this particular game session will be the actual game session, as it were.
But to them, it's hours segments anyway, so they're probably
Yeah, for
all dandy.
to the listener, it's all ours, and they will listen to me ramble on all I want.
What do they care? They're getting this entertainment for free.
Control time.
What's
with
the
the slider at
man?
the
A
bottom.
miserable little pile of secrets.
On
But enough talk. Have at you.
guard.
Anywho,
Can't afford another
so
book,
we
man.
will go ahead and we will start with a small little recap of
Smaller than the game.
Badum-tsh. A small little recap just from the characters' perspectives as far as what they accomplished, quote unquote, in the last session. Which, well, like I said, was very short, so it should be a small recap. But if you guys want to elaborate a bit more, just for the sake if anybody might be tuning in for the first time, you're welcome to do so. And I will go ahead and start with Trenton.
Okay. So you want to open this up for a broader chronicle recap?
If you want to go back a bit more, just in case we have somebody who's listening in for the first time,
Okay. Well,
I'm like last episode on Vampire the Requiem.
right.
Trent, you can't do it, man. There's fire in there. I've got to save those kittens. You know,
They're
The
my
frog is
snack.
tomorrow.
you know, or whatever you want to do with it.
All right. Well, our
No.
dashing character, local cowboy, has just discovered some interesting things about his embrace. I should start that if people haven't been following, Trent and the Coterie has just recently rescued his sister. Um, there was basically an ultimatum given to Trent where they had to pick his life or hers. We were able to successfully get everybody safely away from danger, but the turns out that Trent's sister is mingling with local werewolves, and Trent discovered actually through speaking with them that they're hightailing it out of town, out of Eden, because the coming storm is much more impacting than any of the coterie thinks it's going to be right now, or at least the werewolves think it will be. They took Trent's sister with them, so he's a little bit upset about that. But in the last session, the coterie went into the deep caverns of the Elysium in Eden, down into the prison there. There was a couple people locked up down there, and the coterie first spoke with this man Avery, who I believe was a ghoul. He was somebody that Charles was actually able to capture from the incident when we were saving Trent's sister at the warehouse. Avery was a bit discreet, I guess I should say. He wasn't divulging much information to us. But we found out that there's actually, I don't recall. You guys can correct me if Avery actually told us about there's a coffin from Cairo that has made it into the city. A very ancient artifact. It's a gold coffin with Egyptian writing. And the Order Dracul currently have the coffin in their possession. Actually, I think
Incorrect, sir.
I think Henry actually will correct me, because I think that's part of what Lucia found out from the encrypted message, right?
No. She got that information from her source. We still have not completely found out what is on the encrypted files.
Forget what I said. But there's
We will.
hints. There's hints of this. But anyways, basically Avery discussed this mistress, the mistress in red, and also who he was working under, but more directly he was working under a Nosferatu named Sarah, who was offed by Lucia in a couple sessions ago. She was diablerized. Sarah was diablerized by Lucia.
Yum.
Yeah. And so hopefully we'll start to see Lucia growing extra appendages and her flesh sloughing off pretty soon here. And wearing high heels at the same time. And
Yeah,
And
you were
heels
so
as well.
sexist.
and, anyways, but other than that, I'll finish off with Trent and the coterie were able to also speak with another prisoner underneath Elysium, one Cassandra Brimstone. She was the nomad that caused a huge ruckus in Elysium a few nights prior, when she came in as a murder of crows and then started shooting shotgun rounds off in Elysium. But she spoke about the Eratha reshaping the city and giving warning about the storm. Trent has no idea. I don't think he has any idea who the Eratha is, really. But there's definitely some danger on the horizon. But she also ended up telling Trent that Cassandra Brimstone was actually the person or vampire who saved him the night that he was embraced in his farmhouse when his family, his mother and father, were murdered. Well, Trent was embraced and then forced to feed off of his father and mother in a frenzy, and killing them because he had very little control. But Cassandra was there to she's the one that actually recalled that Trent was embraced by a brood member, Belial's brood member, and it was just like kind of a rampaging brood pack or coterie that came through the farm, and Cassandra was a bit of a savior according to her, but Trent's not is pretty skeptical because he doesn't remember a whole lot from the night, but it actually ties up some mysteries about who embraced him, and now he's extra pissed because this brew doesn't sound very good to him, and they made his blood smell like hell. So I think he's seeking revenge now even more. Okay, long-winded. You guys can go.
All right. Mr. Russell, also Blaine Charles.
Let's see. Much of what Mr. Dominic has said is beside the point. We did go indeed talk to Miss Graves, kind of report, find out the after effects of our actions. We were brought down deep underneath the museum to where there were 6 cells, of which we went inside 2. One to talk to Mr. Avery, who was apparently mind muddled in some way. He had no recollection beyond his objectives within the warehouse. And the Nomad, who did not seem perturbed at all by her situation. Didn't seem distraught or disfrayed or had any sort of fear. So there was that. I believe we found out, actually, just adding on to what Mr. Dominic had said, that she was a member of the Bruja, which is a motorcycle gang of vampires traveling around the Midwest, I believe. They're not the nicest people, but I'm not sure whether I got the information on any more specifics on the brood that is of Dominic's background, or the Uratha. Somebody did. I don't know which one of us did, though. We did find out some information about that, and I think I also returned the Volkswagen back to Red because I had stole it basically 3 days ago.
Well, not quite. Yeah, you haven't returned it yet. You were planning to.
I was going to return it.
Yes.
And that's pretty much it. To just tack on.
Was there also some interest in making Avery a thrall or butler?
But there was paperwork to go through with and all that, and I don't think it's going to happen because, well, Graves gets angry.
Orcus hungers for
but
blood.
we can torture him if you do.
Or he could do other things.
Yeah, he is. He would be
Okay,
an insider.
and Miss Lucia.
All right, so where we left off and stuff. Okay, prior sessions during the fight with the Nosferatu, possibly known as Sarah, using the situation to her advantage, Lucia attacked and successfully diablerized Sarah. As a result, she is now quickly trying to backtrack her trace. But now that Trent's sister has been located, as it were, they are essentially trying to find more information on the situation surrounding them, especially with the oncoming storm. So after meeting up with Sheriff Graves, they went into the basement of the Museum Elysium and interrogated one of the survivors of the attack, which Lucia backed away so she wouldn't be fingered for, committing a sin. And thankfully, with some fly wording with Charles Tybalt, the suspicion was kind of moved away from her. After that, they went to investigate the Nomad, and Lucia uncovered more information on the Brood and the Bruja, as it were, and they carried themselves out. Meanwhile, before they could ask, basically Trent conducted his own little investigation into his past. She seemed a little bit more willing to talk to him and explained a little bit further onto his origins and that there's going to be some oncoming trouble with the werewolf packs around here. Maybe they'll rebel or possibly slaughter all the vampires or, something painful like that. After which they set out to try and figure out what they were going to do, whether pretty much everyone, most of the party wanted to seem to go out and investigate more into, the lady in red, the mistress in lead, who is possibly Mistress Valentine. But with some careful explanation and logic on her side, Lucia managed to convince her Codieri that it would probably be better if they investigate a slightly less important matter, so they don't stick their noses into a more bigger trouble. All the while, they can use that as a springboard to gain more information, so they're better prepared. So, as far as she knows, she is going to, with her Codieri, go investigate the Lancia Sanctum for information on a Order Dracul artifact that was taken without permission yet, and perhaps some more information on Josephine Valentine, who was, in fact, a former Lancia member.
You say, yeah, I just think it's funny. You say Lancia, I say Linkia Sanctum.
Lankia Sanctum is correct. Henry, you're wrong.
Venture.
I say Lancia
Venture.
because
Well, no,
there's
I mean,
no sound in that.
I'm with John here, and the
Lankia
pronunciation being extremely important.
Well, I'm just saying you can pronounce it however you want. It's just whenever you say it, I'm like, what? What are you saying?
There's no
Oh, yes, that's
sound.
right. It's Lankia.
No, it's
L-A-
Lancia.
It's L-A-N.
Lan. C-E-A.
somebody-
Lankia.
Will somebody get Eddie
Lando.
Webb on the line?
Oh, are we actually arguing about this on the air?
Lando.
Somebody
Anyway.
call
Mythbusters.
Achille, Justin Achille.
Let's move on. Let's transform and roll out.
All right.
As y'all can tell, mine was the shortest because everyone covered pretty much everything else already.
Good. That is how recap should work. But kudos goes to Dominic for actually giving a bit more of the backstory. So I'm going to give him 1 extra experience point.
Really?
Yes, really.
Hermes, incentivize that employee.
Especially because he had brought up some things that I had forgotten to mark down in my notes. I was like, oh, that's important.
That's right.
by
He's
the
playing in this game.
By the way, I do have to mention, I still have to roll to see if Lucia is blood addicted and all this other stuff.
Yeah, actually, we're going to do that at the start of the session. It's actually going to be a very, very fun scene.
Yay.
Yeah. See, I hadn't forgotten. I wasn't gonna cheat. I wasn't gonna cheat, so
Oh, start the game, damn it.
Oh, we're very focused on your Diablerie.
All right.
Lucia.
You just want to be the better player. So shut up. Shut up.
All right, then. The previous night has come and gone. You've tried to investigate what venues you have, but the most of the night was spent in argument trying to formulate some sort of plan. I assume you went to your respective havens,
Yes.
as the case would be.
Yeah.
Now for Miss Lucia. As you sleep through the morning hours in the daytime, you keep seeing strange visions in your sleep. A woman dressed in red, and she's sailing. She's sailing. A woman dressed in red,
Sailing away.
with a very stern look, but a very almost contradictory, sweet smile. It's almost too sugary sweet. And she says, "Kneel before me, my servant." You feel your body kneel down. She leans down and her eyes look into yours. You see that piercing emerald gaze as she strokes a single finger across your cheek. Oh, something has happened to you. Something bad. She smiles, the eyes almost a bit too wide. She gives a soft giggle. Ah, yes, I can feel it now. She giggles a bit. It seems as though your soul has joined into that of another. By this time, things kind of start distorting a bit. They come back into view. Can you hear me? You've taken something from me. Yes, and I'm going to come and get it back. There's one thing I don't like. It's things that are stolen from me. She goes and she grins, and as she grins, coming in closer and closer, her mouth suddenly opening, her fangs exposed, and you wake up. A fearful hunger gnawing inside of Lucia's gullet. And at this time, we will go ahead and give that roll.
And what exactly is that roll, pray tell?
I am checking for that right now. Do not rush me. I'm
Slap.
You dare ask a perfectly feasible question?
You cur! Oh, I'm sitting below the table if my voice suddenly becomes dim.
Alright, according to this, it is just a simple humanity roll.
Alright, my humanity is 6.
Yes, so that means it's going to be a dice pool of 3.
Dice pool of 3.
Which reminds me, I don't have the dice roller open either.
And you have
You should do that. I don't know if you can actually add a willpower to this.
No, not to humanity.
Oh.
Otherwise,
You.
Otherwise, I think I would have, just because Lucia does not like being bound to anything. Tell me when you got it open, and then I'll roll.
I've got it open.
Okay, here we go. Big bucks, no whammies. Big bucks, no whammies. Big bucks, no whammies. No whammies. 1 success.
You feel this hunger kind of gnaw at you, pull at you. Oh, that vitae was so sweet, but something about it was wrong. Almost tainted, almost twisted. You're able to pull back the hunger for more kindred vitae. At least for now. By this point, what would everybody else be doing?
Charles?
Okay. I have something of an idea.
I hope it is a full formulated idea.
It's mostly formulated. It relies on one question, sort of.
Yes.
Okay, I had assumed that my haven/living abode was an apartment. I picked the 17th floor because I like that number.
Okay.
And also my resources is 3 dots, so it's a nicer place, yes?
Mm-hmm.
So it would have like room service or bellhops or someone where if I call a number at the bottom floor, they will send someone up.
Yes.
So, Charles is hungry. He has 2 points of vitae left.
Mm-hmm.
Could I feasibly call up room service or something like that, and then wait at the front door? Actually, this is my question. Well, this is basically have them open the door and then either dominate to sleep or either use the second level of dominate or third, whichever one is the mind eraser thing. It depends on whether I do not remember if the biting actually has any sort of if it's an act like if someone is asleep and you bite them, do they become aware or not, or if it's a
yeah, they become aware, but it is an increasingly pleasurable sensation.
then it would probably be the mind. I'd rather they not know anything happened. That was just 3 minutes of. I'm going to alter the memories after. I'm going to snack and then alter the memories of this bellhop to basically say that he just went into his room, took a while to get a tip, and then finally came back out after he got his lobster or whatever.
Okay, if you want to go ahead and do that.
Because I need me some blood.
Okay, you go ahead and you order your room service, whatever it may be. You're going to wait for him to knock on the door?
Basically, yeah.
He comes in and he knocks on the door.
Answer it, kind of smile, and then stare directly into the eyes.
Here's your room service, sir.
Yes, it's some Okay. Silly uniform and cap as well. Mind control. Just stare directly into said person's eyes and start toying with memories. I'm not sure how that works exactly.
It depends. Which one are you going to use?
I'm going to be altering his memories. I don't know whether that will happen, whether there's a delay or not.
First, what you need to do, because even if you alter his memories now,
That's true.
he's still going to have memories of you feeding on him. It'd be best to alter his memory after, post-feeding.
Well, then I'll just use Dominate first then, and then use a Sleep, because that'll make it easier than throwing people around, because I'm not a strong person.
Okay, go ahead and give me an Intelligence plus Intimidation plus Dominate.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Such excited typing.
And that's 3 successes.
He kind of goes and his eyes lock into yours, and all of a sudden, doom, he collapses onto the floor.
I kind of scratch my head and look down both sides of the hallway.
Doesn't seem like there's anybody there that would have cared.
Alright. Grab, pull into room, and let's say 3 points of blood.
Okay. You go ahead and you bite into him, taking what you need to sustain yourself. Taking you up to a total of 5 blood points. His heartbeat is slow. Possibly because he is asleep.
Yes, sluggish.
You can feel it kind of coursing through your body. It's almost nice. You wish you could go back to sleep upon drinking from this sleeping mortal. But as soon as you bite into him, though, and you begin drinking, by the time you've taken your second point of blood, his eyes kind of shoot open. He's like, "What? What's going on?" Then by the time you take your third, he's panicking a bit and he pulls away. You wipe your lips, as the case may be. Yep.
Stand up and make a point to stand in front of the only exit just to make sure he doesn't bolt out the door.
Okay.
Attempt to make eye contact again, just kind of calm down. This is just let me explain things, and then try to alter memories with the mind stare again.
Okay, the Forgetful Mind, which is level 3 Dominate.
Indeed.
It's going to be a Wits plus Persuasion plus Dominate. I'm going to say -2.
Wits, 1, 2, 3. Persuasion. 5, 6, 7, 8. So 6 dice. One success.
He seems a bit nervous and a bit too... Okay, you can go ahead and try to inflict or instill what memories you will.
Well, this is a little different. I'll just basically have the memory be that'll apply to his memory. The person in the this is from his perspective. The owner of the room was a jerk. Was basically crabbing about bad quality of food, yelled for a while, and was generally an unpleasant delivery of food, which should help with the easing of the memory. And eventually got a tip and left, feeling kind of crappy because of his interaction.
Okay.
That'll do. I'll just shoot him.
He goes and he gets up and he's like, "Yeah, I don't have to take this kind of abuse. Not from you hoity-toity prissy boy." He goes as he walks out, still a little rumbling as he grabs the cart of food and goes back out. I quit better jobs than this.
Then I will. Dominic. Oh yeah.
Is there anything else Charles is going to do?
I'm thinking. So, cut to someone else, actually, while, I can't think of anything at the moment.
Okay. After a couple of moments after getting dressed and changed and properly groomed and what have you, there's suddenly another knock on your door.
Check the peephole.
There doesn't seem to be anybody there.
Charles thinks to himself that he's not scared at all. He's just reflexively grabbing the revolver by the door as he opens it.
As soon as you open the door, out from around the corner steps a familiar face. A certain young woman with a red beret. Her eyes kind of wide a bit as she sees your hand reaching for the beret. I'm sorry, for the weapon.
Mine!
And she goes, "Oh, expecting me?"
Comrade, excuse me, I say, pointedly placing the revolver back down on the stand. I was not expecting you, but it's pleasant as always. Please, would you come inside?
She goes and she nods as she steps inside.
I was actually
She gives the place a once over as you speak.
I was actually just meaning to contact you. I was going to ask you if you probably heard the word on the streets about the little shipment of weaponry and all that. I'm sure it pleased you or people.
What are you talking about?
You haven't heard that?
I haven't heard anything.
Oh, well, then let me take the pleasure of announcing it to you personally. I did expressly as you asked. I found that shipment of weapons.
Really? Where was it?
Oh, it was in certain, what would be the word, Transylvanian hands in a warehouse in the city.
Wait. Are you saying the Order of Cool intercepted our shipment?
I wouldn't say they intercepted it, but they were certainly the ones left holding on to it when I found it. You don't need to jump to conclusions. It could be a slip-up. But it is indeed...
This is very troubling if what you're saying is true.
And Miss Graves is also aware of the location, and seemed to have been for some time.
Then this is even more disturbing.
Have you heard of any of the goings-on about town, comrade?
It depends. What are you referring to exactly? I've heard plenty of dealings that's going on around town.
Indeed. Quite a few rather turbulent things. Nomads showing up in Elysium and... Oh, certain interesting political factions making themselves known in the city. I'm just curious what your stance is on this, and your band of fellows.
Well, from what I can tell, change is coming. And if the change comes the way I hope, this vampiric society will be left in shambles. We can easily pick up the pieces, and our society will work for once. Maybe it's a good thing, the storm, she says, shrugging as she sticks her hands into her pocket. No, but I've actually come for more... I've actually come for more, less than pleasant news. You see, she kind of goes and she twiddles with her thumbs a bit. We found Cedric.
Oh, really?
Yes, or at least what's left of him.
Oh.
But that's besides the point, and that is neither here nor there. You see, the problem is, it seems as though somebody's been setting us up
The bomb.
to make it so we will be at odds with the Invictus. You know, I will admit my first impulse was to accuse the Invictus of intercepting our shipment, but if what you told me is true, then it was the Order to Cool that intercepted the shipment for some reason, maybe for no other reason than just to cause conflict between me and them. But I have no idea why.
None at all?
I personally have had no dealings with the Order to Cool myself.
Hmm. Looking pointedly, actually. Of course you haven't.
And where was the shipment found again?
I gave her the actual street address. I don't Warehouse 13. I don't remember I don't think we ever actually got a place. Yeah.
It's Warehouse 13, located on 123 Fake Street,
One, two,
Anytown, U.S.
yes. There was a rather interesting Nosferatu actually within the warehouse.
Mm.
Comrade, do you know anyone named the Mistress or Mistress or Mistress in Red? Besides yourself, of course.
Well, I wear plenty of red, but I prefer to keep it in my, on my head, as it were. It helps represent my stance. But she goes, she scratches her chin. The only lady in red I know is the one that came in with that pretty boy. What's her name? Valentine something.
Yes, I'd heard
Who
her mentioned.
She's from out of city, a place called Necropolis. It's in Arizona, but that's besides the point. Why she's here, I don't know, but she'd be the only mistress in red, as she likes to call herself, or as her many servants refer to her as. I gotta warn you, though, she's pretty scary. Even I stay away from her.
Scary, Comrade?
Well, look, you really got to keep this to yourself. I every time we have a new face come into the city, I run background checks on them amongst our particularly kind of people. Well, it seems that Miss Valentine has, well, how should we say, done a bit of club hopping. See, she originally started out as a crone, and then she moved to have affiliations with the Order of the Cool. And now she's a Lankia Sanctum? I mean, I don't understand how this works. I mean,
that's quite a jump.
Yes, it is quite a jump. I mean, if for no other reason than she's doing this to accumulate power, but, I mean, I know very little about the Order of the Cool, okay? All I know is that they have secrets, they can do shit that can't even begin to comprehend. But what I also know is that anybody who's caught trying to leave with these secrets is, well, not allowed to do so. So how she's able to do this, I have no idea.
It's certainly something worth learning, though.
Yeah, there's just a bunch of rumors circulating about her. I mean, I would warn you to stay away from her.
Staring off in a different direction now, but yes, comrade, your advice is appreciated.
I've even heard that she's able to form some sort of Kruak ritual, a soul link between her and her servants. So that way she can be with them at all times. She can see what they see, feel what they feel. This way, she makes sure that she's never double-crossed by her own servants.
Raise eyebrows at that. Ah. Oh.
But I don't know. It's just a rumor, and I don't know that much about her. Like I said, I did a little bit of research on her, but we can't find out that much. You know, she's a very mysterious woman. But apparently she ties from France. That's as far back as I could find on her.
Deliver français. Fake French. Well,
anywho, look, the real reason I came is the car.
Oh, the car. Yes. I meant to actually return that to you, but I had trouble driving stick.
Oh no, it's fine. I was gonna say you can go ahead and keep it. I've got a new ride already.
Raise eyebrow.
She goes as she points out the window. As you go and you look down, you see that there's a nice GT Charger out there, painted a nice bright red, and actually standing around it is actually two or three said you assume would be like-minded individuals, seeing as how they wear the same headgear as Miss Red Scarlet.
Oh. I don't suppose you'd be willing to trade. I mean, we found your guns.
No. Quite all right. Consider it, consider it a gift. You know, you've done pretty well, and I'll send my boys down to go check out that shipment, and maybe we can get it out of there before any fuzz shows up, and all will be well.
Yes, everything will be well, comrade. Of course, it's always good to hear when someone of your cause is successful.
Oh, that reminds me. There's supposed to be an Elysium tonight, but I don't know if I'm going to be showing up. I have other matters to attend to.
Yes, other matters. I too, I think, might have a couple. Now that you bring this information to me, might have a couple things of import I need to go with. So, kind of start to wave and wander towards the door.
Mm-hmm.
And as showing at the door, just kind of, comrade, you had mentioned that this storm might not be, it might be best if we sat aside and watched the storm pass, and we could recover from the shambles if worse comes to worse.
Yeah. Well, that's my view on it. Any storm that you can weather is one that is worth living through.
Yes, it's a fine viewpoint, comrade. Of course, just hypothetically speaking, it's sometimes better to tear things down before the storm arrives so that you can better brace yourself. Yes?
True, but sometimes when a storm takes place, it's easier to tear away the rubble that's left over and start anew.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Well, pleasant evening. Close the door.
Okay. And with that, where would Mr. Charles be headed this evening? I assume possibly to meet up with the other quarter members?
Yeah, I was going to call the other two.
Okay. Now, as for Mr. Trenton, what would Trent be doing?
I was just thinking about that. I think Trent would go to. He wants to feed, and he's going to go to the movie theater.
Okay.
So I imagine he's probably just
and
been in the theater this whole time.
Yeah, you go, and it's a movie theater. Since it is October, they brought back what they call Camp Cult, where they're showing a bunch of campy horror movies.
Excellent.
This particular one is Invasion of the Octopus People.
Excellent.
Oh no.
Yeah. You know, stereotypical, campy scream and so forth.
Right. Well, Trent was raised on them.
Mm-hmm. As you go and you sit about, I don't know if you're actually watching the theatrics of the evening.
He's gonna. I think he's chosen to sit next to, someone that's alone, near the back, away from maybe where most people are sitting, if anyone's there.
You can tell that there's a guy. He's sitting back there. He was like, I absolutely love this movie. You can tell by the cheese factor in it that it's just amazing. It's actually one of Mr. Carwell's best feature films.
Wow, you know a lot about this movie, buddy.
Oh yeah, I have his entire works on DVD, plus his unreleased stuff that never made it over here. The stuff in Europe. The stuff that was too graphic at the time to come over.
So, do you prefer the more graphic stuff?
Well, it's not about the gore so much. It's about the campiness to it, the funniness of it. This stuff is all old, and there's a certain art to it.
Oh, so this is more about art then?
I suppose so, yeah.
What got you so interested in films?
I don't know. I've just always had a thing for monsters and monster movies.
I gotta tell you, I really enjoy monsters as well.
Good.
Lol.
Do you, do you think I could get some of that popcorn you got?
Yeah, sure, here.
Trent's gonna reach over and then sneak a bite.
On his wrist, his
on his neck.
Oh, okay.
No,
He's gonna
he's
try-
gonna do the classic movie theater thing and just go downtown.
Downtown.
This scene is so romantic.
You go and you reach over and he's like, "Ah, wow, what are you doing?"
Well,
And
Trent's
I
Trent's
assume
not
you
even
go
going
ahead.
to acknowledge him and quickly start feeding.
Okay. I'd say go ahead and give me a strength plus brawl, just because he's gonna be fidgeting a bit.
Okay.
You're only gonna need one success. He's not exactly what's the word? Mr.
Limbar.
Athletic.
A limber.
Plus, he's buried in 12 pounds of movie theater food. He's got nachos on one side, popcorn on the other. Snow caps.
One
probably
success.
You managed to hold him down as you bite into him. Okay, how much you can take from him?
I'm gonna take 4.
All of the blood.
All of the blood,
Wait,
Mom.
he has a total of
10.
6, right?
He has a total of 10, but you can
Oh,
take
total.
3 before he passes out.
Oh, I'm gonna take 5.
Okay, that takes you up to 9. The guy kind of goes and he passes out, his body kind of twitching a bit and limbering, and
Excellent.
his blood actually tastes pretty bad, pretty foul, pretty chunky.
Oh
The word
god.
would be. You actually feel your undead arteries clog a bit as it struggles to digest, but it works all the same.
Oh. And Trent, when he finishes, he's gonna lick the wound close.
Something somebody else forgot to do. Very well. After you finish with that, do you finish the movie or do you get up or?
Well, is the guy passed out?
Yeah, he's passed out. He's out.
He's gonna just put his arm around the guy and eat his popcorn and watch the rest of the movie.
Okay. All right.
Like a couple of buddies.
Because you can't digest the popcorn, so you just spit it right back out.
Oh yeah, I can't eat popcorn, can I?
Well, you can always just chew it around and then spit it out.
Yeah, he's just gonna. Do they taste it? Can they taste?
Uh,
I thought they can taste, they just can't absorb.
yeah,
Yeah,
They.
he's just gonna chew it like a chew, like tobacco.
All right. Let's say you do that and then you toss it out when you're done. Well then, since everybody has done with the initial festivities, you all gather together, as you were, I assume, at somebody's haven location. Where are you going to be meeting up? I'm going to let you guys make contact with each other.
Well,
I was hoping-
I actually had a few things I was actually going to do besides, just make a blood addiction resist.
Okay.
Well, now I've got sweet wheels, so.
Henry? You want to do Lucio's first, and then we'll.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just waiting to see what y'all wanted to do.
But I was thinking that while you're doing this, Trenton could go over to Charles' apartment. But would he know how to get there?
Oh, that's entirely up to Russell. Would Charles have divulged that information?
I was actually going to call him first, so.
Okay, well that'll work just as well. But with that, let's go ahead and take a short break.
Skadoosh.